I call myself God's businesswoman. I'm a kingdom entrepreneur first before I am a trainer and coach. On a monthly basis, I take 150 to 200 professionals on a growth accelerator to put out their businesses on LinkedIn.
A 23-year-old lady who is using her platform on LinkedIn to inspire people, coach professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and helping them to succeed in their day-to-day works. And I have with me here, Omar. If a young person wants to stand out today in society, what are the things he or she should do?
Go and meet the person that produced you. Because he knows the right things that you're meant to do, and this is not the life.
The inspiration, the grit, the zeal, the vision, and I think he's the king of social media.
In these days, we are trying to separate the king from the priest, right? So God has told us you are kings and priests. And so now you see $1 billion entrepreneur, and then when you start talking about God, you're like, leave it for the pastor, leave it for the priest.
So what does success mean to you?
We're in a world that judges books by its covers.
Yes.
So everything is going around by perception. You're charging, okay, you release a course and you're telling us to pay 50K. But then we don't perceive you of somebody like somebody that should charge that. What does success mean to me?
What are the mistakes entrepreneurs are making on social media and you want them to correct?
There are a lot of mistakes.
This is a masterclass. Omar, welcome to Daba TV.
Thank you.
Welcome to Daba Studios. And finally, our dream podcast is here.
I know, right?
So Omar is I think I have many names for her. So in case I call her executive lady, I call her superwoman, I call her the LinkedIn queen. Oh, she's popularly known as the LinkedIn queen. And in today's edition of Wealth Creation podcast, Omar will be sharing with us the impact of social media, how entrepreneurs can leverage platforms like LinkedIn and other social media platforms for success, for wealth creation, and also of their business. Let's meet Omar. Who is Omar Wogo? I know I've introduced you, but I want it to come from your mouth.
Well, I call myself God's businesswoman. Yeah, I'm a kingdom entrepreneur first before I am a trainer and coach.
Interesting.
Right. So on a monthly basis, I take 150 to 200 professionals on a growth accelerator to put out their businesses on LinkedIn.
Why LinkedIn?
Basically because LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network, right?
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And a lot of people are professionals, but they don't give attention to the professional network.
People like me.
And so they wonder why some things are not working, right? So most of my students come in and say, okay, I've been able to dominate Facebook with my business, Instagram, but this LinkedIn,
it's hard.
I don't know.
It's boring.
It's hard. It's boring.
Yeah.
So I decided to fill that gap and be that person that is making LinkedIn comfortable for them to show up. And they've been showing up.
Interesting. So you've had different entrepreneurs come to you, and LinkedIn is now like home for them.
Exactly.
Are there any other thing you want to tell us that makes LinkedIn so special?
Yes.
Tell me more.
So LinkedIn has an ambience, and you agree with me when you open Instagram.
I may disagree with you.
Okay, you might disagree. When you open Instagram and when you open LinkedIn, your mindset is different.
Hey, Instagram people have eaten.
No offense
on
Instagram.
No, go ahead.
Or Twitter, but your mindset is different.
Okay.
So when you see someone that has, let's say, a business owner or a professional that has like 50,000 followers on LinkedIn, and then you see another person that has 50,000 followers on Facebook, the person on LinkedIn looks more like a genius. LinkedIn, how do you have a lot of people following you on this serious LinkedIn? Right? So people tend to trust you better when you are branded on LinkedIn because they already think this place is for serious people. And when you now have a lot of people following you, endorsing you on that serious platform, the trust tends to rub off on your business. So if you can well brand yourself on LinkedIn, you won't struggle a lot. I've seen it happen back to back with people that I've worked with.
Interesting. And so maybe after this event, after this session, I'll start taking my LinkedIn serious. But I'm on LinkedIn actually.
I know.
And the only sin I have, but Twitter is more addictive for me. And I've started leaving Facebook. So I'll use my... So for you, what's your hierarchy of importance for social media platforms? Okay. What's your hierarchy?
LinkedIn.
Okay, 1.
Instagram. Threads.
Well, you just came, how many days? How many? This is.
Let me tell you a story.
Share,
because
please.
I should have said Instagram, then Twitter, but I said Threads.
Okay.
Because I've had a long journey with Twitter. I think they've not restricted. But my account doesn't just. I'll open an account today. Another day, I can't just access the account. So I just have. I and Twitter are not on good terms.
Okay, I'll call Elon and my uncle Elon, please. Let's look into her accounts. She's a LinkedIn queen and professional, and we need her on Twitter. Okay.
And the vibes on Twitter. Somebody that spent a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I know that quiet ambience, people. Then I come to Twitter, and then I'm like, Jesus, let me just.
But I have one problem with LinkedIn.
Please talk to me.
And the problem is, you come in, everybody are sending you one guy from India and that guy from Malaysia, a business developer of one company, they're already sending you all their proposals in one meeting. Guy, we just said hello, and the next thing is, Chris, I'm sure your company will be interested in using our software for this. And I get those pitches. Sometimes I run away from LinkedIn because of that.
Exactly, and this is something that I have to teach the people.
So how do we deal with that?
Exactly. So I tell them, or I give them a strategy to actually network with people without sounding salesy. So this is one issue with professionals on LinkedIn. Yes, you know that, okay, I have Instagram, I have Facebook to play, and then when I come here, I just want to sell, pitch to this business owner, pitch to this CEO. But then I think my place is now to condition them to actually form relationships. Because when you now form relationships, selling will not be a hassle.
What platform do you teach these professionals? Do you have a website, or do you have a business group, or do you have just a page? Share with us.
Okay, so I have a Telegram community.
Okay, great.
So I house each cohort. Every month we have different cohorts on Telegram.
For those of you who don't know what cohort is, it's like a particular batch of, so because of our audience, different set of audience, so different batch, you put them on Instagram, on Telegram. Okay.
Yeah, so we have a community of professionals, and the beautiful thing about it is that yes, we want to show up on LinkedIn, but the funny thing is that most of them find their clients in that community. So imagine a community of 150 business owners, and you have a product for them. Sometimes you don't need to struggle on LinkedIn.
So while you guys are watching, I think the picture of Mogu's Ahoma's I call her Haoma. So if I call her Ahoma or Homa, let's take the two of them because I actually like Ahoma over Homa. What's the meaning of Homa?
My name?
Yes.
Good thing, fine thing.
Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so our LinkedIn page is currently projected on the screen. And so, do they send you a message on LinkedIn, or they just add you or to get that?
Okay, to join the community.
Yes.
Or they just have to click the link in my bio. LinkedIn now allows you to have a link in your bio.
Oh, so that means LinkedIn just came for that now. LinkedIn just came for that. Instagram had that. Twitter had that since. Okay, and LinkedIn. Okay, so for me, my own order or preference for social media, I think I'll still, for now, okay, so there was a time it was Facebook one. So now it's changing. The same way you have top 10 of the week. So for now, it's Twitter, then Instagram, then Facebook, then LinkedIn. Should I continue? Then Threads.
We are really opposite.
Okay, so for Threads, I still have this bias with Mark.
Why?
Because I like Mark Zuckerberg. I was in one bank when Facebook hit our first 100 million users. It was like a breaking news then. Back then in school, I was like, Facebook just hit. So I was in a bank and I saw, big. And Mark Zuckerberg's success story gave young people like us that inspiration that, man, this guy is just 19. He built a social media platform when he was just 19. You know, this kind of drop out of school, even though I didn't drop out of school. And that was the thing I like about Mark. The inspiration, the grit, the zeal, the vision. And I think is the king of social media. Oh, I missed one before Threads. So let me start again.
Yeah.
It is Twitter, then TikTok.
Oh, TikTok is where we engage with
TikTok, then we now go for Instagram, then Facebook, then LinkedIn, then Threads. So that's my top 6. Okay, so back to Mark Zuckerberg's story. So I also read one particular book, Think Like Zuck, back then, and the movie Social Network. So that was a vibe I had with Mark Zuckerberg. But you know, at the end of the day, Mark has grown to that guy who wants to be collecting all your data for whatever. So I still having that part back, but he's still one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time, and he has built solid and amazing stores. But I still think that Facebook does a lot of partial. For instance, some of us will make some posts on Facebook. For instance, I can't run ads on my Instagram account. The same way you have issues now with your Twitter. I can't run ads on my Instagram account because of restrictions. Okay, so Facebook isn't trying to fix those things. And some of us, they've made Facebook so dull for us that you make a post now. There's a time when you'll be getting bored, but now you just make a post and you're like,
crickets.
Yeah, everywhere is like, and you're wondering, what's all this? Okay, so those are the bars, and that's why I had to use, I've stayed more on other social media platforms. I saw a video of yours on TikTok, and I was trying to correlate between a lady who was saying something like, I'm inviting you guys for this conference, and there was a lot of fire in that video. And I was relating again with the LinkedIn queen that I know. And so, tell us, maybe they can still project a bit of that video. What were you talking about on TikTok then?
Okay. I was talking about the Light Conference.
Okay.
So I think that the reason why you were trying to marry the LinkedIn queen with this person talking about the kingdom is because in these days, we are trying to separate the king from the priests, right? So God has told us you are kings and priests. And so now you see a $1 billion entrepreneur, and then when he starts talking about God, you're like, leave it for the pastor, leave it for the priest. Forgetting that we are kings and priests, right? When they said God is king of kings, meaning we are the kings. So in crypto, in media, you are the king. And so when you come to his presence, you're casting crown. So I intentionally wanted to have a conference, a community of these kingdom entrepreneurs that would dominate their sectors and establish God's glory. Before
we go to that, when you started out, you're 23. When did you get this? At what age did you really get inspired to try to boss LinkedIn?
I started out on LinkedIn in 2019.
And that's like...
I was 19.
4 years ago. And you started your journey on LinkedIn. How many followers do you have on LinkedIn now?
55,000.
So 55,000 people follow you on LinkedIn. That's interesting. And what was the inspiration behind this first? Because you wouldn't tell me at 19 you were just thinking of coaching professionals.
I started coaching last year.
Okay.
So from 2019 to 2022, I was just, I don't want to use the word vibing, but I was literally just, LinkedIn was like my dorm site.
You're just there.
Yeah, in 2019, I was more conscious of my Instagram presence than my LinkedIn presence. I didn't care about the pictures. I would just post stuff. But unknowingly, I was creating a relationship with people there. Because a lot of people were not consistent on LinkedIn. So I had first mover advantage.
I had a conversation with you earlier before this podcast. What's the most inspirational, what's the most powerful book you read this year?
Church Shift.
So, Church Shift by Pastor Sunday Adelaja. Is that, and what did it do to you?
It changed my mindset.
Tell me.
So, after I read Church Shift, it was like, you know when people say this book changed my life, I never believed that until I read Church Shift.
Interesting.
Because how can I just have a blueprint of an event after I close the book?
So you're telling me now that you planned the conference after reading Church Shift?
The Light Conference was not in my vision board for 2023.
Oh, in vision boards?
Coaching more people, reading, speaking more.
And the next thing is you woke up one day decided to buy church sheet book, or you had church sheet book in your house?
Yeah, I joined the mentorship program, and church sheet, we had to read church sheet by Jumoke Adenowo. So, you know Jumoke Adenowo?
Okay, I don't know her.
Okay,
so you had a coaching program. And so I was trying to look at the importance of mentorship here. She had a coach, a mentor, and one of the books to read was Church Shift. And you read Church Shift and decided to launch Light Conference. And so what is Light Conference finally about? And when is it taking place? What's going on with Light Conference?
Okay. So Light Conference is where believers in the marketplace, right, gather, and then we are given the strategies, right, to be top 1% in our sectors. Because if we really are saying we want to dominate the earth or establish God's glory on the earth, you have to be top of your industry. Nobody is going to give you attention, or you can't be king over an industry where you don't have knowledge, you don't have strategy, you don't have uncommon wisdom. People call it privileged information. And then when I was praying for the Light Conference, God told me something, that these things that my children, that's these people that are dominating their sectors, people like you, some of the speakers that are coming, things that they are not comfortable to say when they go for major corporate conferences, because they're like, oh, there might be unbelievers here. Things that have worked for them behind closed doors, they will share it in that conference. Because if we are raising an army that will dominate their sectors for God, they need to see results. I was having an Instagram live yesterday, and they were telling me, how can young people are discouraged when you tell them, this is my process. I spent 10 years here. This is why I'm successful. But then they see a Yahoo boy that just made it in how many days? What is making them attracted? His results. If we don't now put these people that have results in their faces, they'll keep looking elsewhere. They don't care about your process, your long inspirational talk. They want results, and Light Conference is showing them the people that have made it with God's strategy. And so Light Conference will be an inspirational platform that will show people this is how to go. This is the way of success. This is the light. This is wherein you should go. This is how you can be king of your sector. Interesting. And so as it stands now, with this new vision for Light Conference, how do you combine it with your social media work? And because you see, one thing with vision I know is that vision bets vision. Ideas bet ideas. I'm sure that when you started with attending a coaching program, and the next thing is you're doing one of the things they said you should do in the coaching program. Read this book by Sunday Adelaja, and you read Church Shift. And now you read Church Shift. Within the next book you read again, that could trigger another thing, okay, which is for good. Yeah. And so when you finish Church Shift project, what are you looking at post the conference? So I'm very intentional about what God has for me in a particular season. So before launching anything, I have to consult. Because some things might be good, but if it's not His will, He won't fund it. His presence will not be there. So at the beginning of the year, I wanted to launch my book, Morning Star. I wrote a book. But I just wanted to have it book launch, small people come. And then the idea of the Light Conference came. And then I thought, Morning Star is teaching people to show up online and offline and really tell their stories and be top of their sectors. And the vision for the Light Conference is this, similar. Why don't we bring it together? So you're launching a book that day? Interesting. My first book. I was going to ask you how many books you've written. Yeah, I've written 3 books. Okay, but this is your first? Yeah. That is published. That's okay. Oh, that's interesting to note. So I've been having a wonderful conversation with Omar, and I think that there are other questions I want to really ask. What does success mean to you? Do you know that I thought about this question this morning? Oh. Yes. This is actually weird because I was thinking, what does success mean to me? And then I just got the inspiration from God. Success is not being the richest. It's not being the most famous. For me, I see success as ticking certain boxes that God has for you at a particular season. So someone can be very rich, but there are certain things he's meant to be doing. He has not ticked. In God's eyes, you're not successful. The world can call you successful. But my idea of success is God's purpose. Am I doing it now? God's purpose. Am I doing it? That's the idea for success. And so how rich do you want to be? I want to be the richest woman that has ever lived.
Interesting. I like your ambition. Whoa. Okay, so thank God I'm having a podcast to you so that when checks need to be signed easily,
and I will be.
I won't even look at and say, okay, this is interesting to know that you've had this conference. I've asked you for the most impactful book you've read this year. What's the most impactful? Do you watch movies?
I don't.
Why don't you watch movies? Why? Are they time distracting for you?
So, I just can't finish a movie.
Why?
I don't know why.
You don't like movies?
Yes. So I feel like, I won't say I'm a very emotional person, but when I see my sister watch movies, because she watches a lot of movies, I'm like, why do I want to bring in another fake emotion to the ones I'm already feeling? Sometimes she's crying, sometimes she's angry, because of the movie. I'm like, I don't have energy for this. And I also think time too. Okay. I would rather read a book, I would rather watch a course, I would rather watch a documentary, YouTube video than.
On a typical day, how does Omar spend her day?
Okay. Well, I wake up, I speak to the Holy Spirit because he's the most powerful being on the earth, right? And then I command my day for the lines to fall in place for me and for the earth to yield its increase to me. And I think this is something most entrepreneurs don't do. You just wake up, you do your devotional, everybody's doing devotional, but you don't know that you have power to make things work for you. You're waiting for the earth or your day to treat you well when you can actually treat your day well. So I intentionally do that. And then I go on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn again!
Oh wait, I have my to-do list first, and then I go on LinkedIn. I see people going through my accelerator, their posts, because I help them to show up on LinkedIn throughout the period of time. Some of them I engage, because when I engage on their post, it tends to do well. That's how the LinkedIn algorithm does, because my audience also see. Well, then I read. I intentionally read. I put it on my
to-do list.
Yeah, because before I didn't used to read. I couldn't read. I didn't like reading. A lot of people thought, last year my birthday I had most books, because people thought, oh, this girl is a nerd, she likes reading, but I couldn't read. But when I wrote my first book, I know the kind of wisdom I put in it, and I'm like, so people that are reading books, people that are writing books, they surely are putting their best thoughts. So I should read books.
Yes.
And then I remembered the quote that says, in the next 5 years, you'll be who you are because of the prayers you make, people you meet, and the books you read.
Yeah.
And then I started reading books.
Interesting.
So I read books and take courses.
Physical or digital books, which one do you prefer?
No, physical books. Okay,
so I actually did a poll today. I did something on Facebook, on Twitter. I used to think people have stopped reading physical books because of the rise of digital platforms. Everything is digital. There's AI too. Everything is digital. The only thing AI won't do for us is give us food.
Until it starts giving us.
Until it starts giving us food before. Okay, so we have that. So I just said, in the morning I was studying. I just said, let me put up something around 7 or 6 a.m. And I said, do people still read physical books or buy? Man, the comments I was getting, people were posting their library. One of my friend David Alade posted 4 books he just got, and he was reading one on communication, one on leadership, one on attitude. I was like, oh, hold on. This response I'm getting is making me. One guy posted a book, Think Like a Billionaire, Act Like a Billionaire, by Scott Anderson. I read that book 2012. I bought it at Dominion City Bookstore in Ojota. I was like, jeez. And guess what? I had to, you see, and it has killed this motion of this talk of Nigerians don't read. That's a big fat lie. And also, I think it has inspired me now to go back and write. I've been a writer, so I used to think we don't buy books, but I'm going back to my book publishing business because I wrote Crypto 101. I got massive sales with it. Now I want to write books on life lessons. I want to write books on success, write books on leadership. A mentor of mine told me way back in university, said, some people will not read certain books until you write it.
True.
Some people will not read certain subjects until you write it. So you may think that people know everything. Oh, these authors, they are listening to only these authors. It's just like someone that say, okay, Bishop Oyedepo has written so many books, so why should I write? No. True. You can write because your environment, your own world will also connect with you. Okay? Because when you write 50 books on success and you still write one on success, and somebody will still buy his own and still buy your own and still read from you and learn from you because you still have something to share. So I think that we should, whatever message you have, put in a book. One man said there are 2 things you should do before you die: plant a tree and write a book. Okay? Yeah, and I think that in the next 6 months, guys, writing for me is so easy. Writing for me is one of the easiest things I can do. Compile, edit, proofread, then package and publish again.
Do you use ChatGPT?
Okay, so for writing books, no, I don't do that. And so I've been using ChatGPT lately for just research.
Okay.
But I've not been so. What do you think with ChatGPT? What's your thought about it?
ChatGPT is basically one of the best assistants you can have. So you can literally write a book with ChatGPT.
Of course, I know.
You can literally.
But don't you think original thoughts will be taken away from that?
Do you know the funny thing? There's a particular manual I wanted to write, and there's a kind of prompt you give ChatGPT that when it brings the answer, it's like it's refining your thoughts. Because honestly, I believe that African talents, the problem most of us have, or most of them have, is really not the skill problem, but the communication problem.
Interesting.
I'll give an example. When I was in the university, I studied economics at Covenant University.
Oh, nice. That you was children.
Oh, Papa is my dad.
Go ahead.
So in my 400 level, because there's this bandwagon, if everybody wants to do internship, in 200 level, I did KPMG.
Yeah.
In 400 level, I wanted to do Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is an investment bank.
Yeah.
So we were all bandwagon, everybody wants to do, we're applying. And then I decided to apply. And then there were people that were better than me. There's this organization called SEO Africa. They help interns get global internships. So they took us through the program. It was time for our interview. And then in that set, I was the only person that got the Goldman Sachs interview.
Wow.
First, I know the help of God. And second, communication.
Wow. So you intend to Goldman Sachs?
Yeah, I had this.
You're dropping $1 million check for us.
I got their spring internship in 2021.
Oh.
And so I knew a lot of people were coming with, you have economic knowledge, but can you really communicate to your value?
There's a woman who does something like this on Twitter. Her name is Dr. Ola Brown. And she teaches finance, economics. And like, is it not the same economics you study, some of us read? And she's doing it so practical.
Yeah.
She shares articles, shares videos, and all that. And I think this thing you just said is, what would you, so you've mentioned some of these limitations that communication is a core. What other thing, so how do you see ChatGPT solving this problem for them?
So ChatGPT refines their thoughts. Right. So some people, let's use LinkedIn as an example.
Okay.
You want to say something, let's say you want to talk about problem solving, you want to talk about whatever on LinkedIn, you type something, your post is good to go. Take that post, copy it, put it on ChatGPT, give it a prompt, refine it so that I sound like a thought leader and see what's going to come out. And you see that this is what I should have said.
Instead
There's just
this
a communication gap that I need to refine.
Okay.
So while you are refining that your communication, you're taking courses, you're learning, why don't you use a tool available to you?
While you're watching, I want you all to write 4 things you've learned so far from this conversation, okay? 4 things, and we will continue this conversation. I want to ask you, if a young person wants to stand out today in society, what are the things he or she should do? I'm not going to answer that question. I want you to answer first. How will someone build ourselves to become a star, somebody that is sought after? You got something KPMG you interned in Goldman Sachs. Today you're building professionals. You're a definition of success. How would you say a young person who's in Nigeria today, 18, 19, and wants to be like Omar in future, what are the steps you want such person to take?
You've just asked me about Morningstar. That's my book.
Oh, interesting.
Exactly. So it's basically to help people become the stars. The first thing I'll tell them, honestly, because this is your iPad, the best person that knows the greatest use of the iPad it's people that produced it.
Yeah.
Right? There are some things that this iPad can do that you don't know.
Yes, true.
But the people that produced it know.
True.
So the first thing I'll tell them, literally, go and meet the person that produced you. Because he knows the right things that you're meant to do at this season of your life. When I was in university, there's one prayer I continually made. And I used to tell God, where is that sector that I will have the greatest contribution? I'll make the greatest contribution to this earth you have created. So a lot of believers, they are so heaven focused that they've forgotten that God has given you the earth to dominate. And he has given you a sector, a territory to dominate. So what distinguished me was that I started asking that question early. Where is that territory that you want me to be king in? And when you start asking that question, God knows that you are more kingdom focused than yourself focused. So he will channel wealth to you because he knows that you are kingdom focused. You use it for the right things. He'll put you in places. I told you of the Ace Business Club. That Ace Business Club is a club for high net worth individuals. Sometimes I don't even like saying my age in the community. Yes, because people there are the ages of my parents, right? But it just tells me that when you identify with your creator, because I usually tell people there's a human resource gap in the kingdom of God. You have Daba. Imagine someone coming to you to say, oh, Mr. Chris, I want to volunteer for your company. You will do everything possible to ensure that this talent is so refined that he can get the job done.
Yes.
So when you see God channeling certain things to people, putting them in certain rooms, because he has seen this talent has volunteered himself for me, I'll give him what he needs. So that has been my story.
Interesting.
Beyond that is now the practical aspect that most Christians don't do. God has told you what to do, and you just do it anyhow.
No excellence.
No excellence. I intentionally show up in the best way possible.
I see that. At
an event, with my pictures, every way possible, I want to showcase excellence. Because if you really have a picture of how heaven is, there's order, there's excellence, and he has sent you to establish heaven here on earth with your business, with your product. Some people will write ebooks and then it's just shabby. Some people will release courses and it's shabby, and then you're wondering, why is this person looking so successful? It's in the little things, the details, the kind of, how does this person speak? You come on live on Instagram and you're sounding somehow. You forget that this world, we're in a world that judges books by its covers.
Yes.
So everything is going around by perception. You're charging, okay, you release a course and you're telling us to pay 50K. But then we don't perceive you of somebody that should charge that. So I am intentionally, you were saying something before our conversation, that you need to tell people how they should see you.
Yes. Be intentional with your story.
People will call you what you call yourself.
Yes.
Like this LinkedIn queen. I decided to say, I can be the queen of this domain. And I started calling myself LinkedIn queen.
I like that. I like that.
And they started calling me LinkedIn queen.
I like that.
I went to Covenant University to speak. And then the MC asked the students, what do you know her for? I thought they would call one social enterprise that started at Covenant University in the Sage Hub. Everybody crossed LinkedIn. That's telling you that that's a territory that you're establishing dominance over.
And you see, what's this I was going to say? You are the number one writer of your own story. Honestly. You are the number one person you can dictate, like I shared with you earlier on. I said in the next 1 to 3 years, there's a way I want people to see me. There's a way I want people to know who I am. I want to go to London and host one conference on wealth creation or success and powered by Daba, and Chris Ann is there. He's not just known as just a crypto guy. He's known as somebody who can teach you success, who can help you create wealth and all that. And I want to be so intentional with that in the next 5-10 years, you know me as this. And nobody will do that for you except you. One day Jesus had to ask his man, say, who do you think men say I am? Some say you are this and that. Some say, so nobody could define.
Exactly.
Until this one say you are the son of God. I said, flesh and blood didn't reveal this thing to you. Okay, because you know this is the person I am. And in life today, if you're going to, you have to sit down. Don't let people write your story for you.
At all.
Be the writer of that story. The same way you have your vision board you want to put. I learned something away from I learned something recently, which I'm going to share in one of our teachings about having success walls. It's away from whatever we're discussing now, but this came to me and I said I was going to share it. that one way you can actually still boost your confidence ahead of what you want to do in the future is to have success walls. The way you have vision boards. Success walls are now where you write your wins. Everything you've done in the past 1 year, whatever you've achieved in the past, write it there. Remember, vision board, what was a vision board is? I wanted to even ask you to take you to the future, right? Make you see. But we sometimes get so concentrated on what the future, and we forget the things we've done.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you look at somebody like, oh, you were mentioning, okay, whatever you do it so excelling well.
Yeah.
But you know that David wouldn't have killed the Goliath if he didn't have the testimony of killing the bear and the lion and tendering the fathers or whatever sheep in the bush there. So whatever you are doing, do it excellently, because it will be part of those things you put in your success wall. It will be part of those things you put in your CV. It is part of those things you will put in those archives and say, okay, I did this and I can do this better tomorrow. We've had conversation on LinkedIn. We've had conversation on before we leave, I want to ask, what are the mistakes entrepreneurs are making on social media and you want them to correct?
There are a lot of mistakes.
Let's share. Maybe you share 2 or 3 with us. You're saying this thing. You're already doing like, you're like these African mothers. Let me just talk.
Oh, because I see it a lot. One mistake that they make first is how they are showing up. Right? So you're an entrepreneur. You want to attract a certain caliber of people. But you're not showing up like the success that they want to be. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. Right, I wanted to train people about LinkedIn growth, LinkedIn visibility, audience attraction on LinkedIn. How was I showing up? People validated me by my own LinkedIn. So there are some people now, you're selling something, but your life, first of all, is not a testament of the success of that thing you want to sell. So how they show up, most importantly, how they are communicating the transformation that their products, their businesses would have. Right, like I said, most of Africans, communication is a big deal, right? So if you can use AI, please do. If whatever you can use, please do, to ensure that you're communicating your value well. Because on LinkedIn, right, I've gotten people join my program from Pakistan, from Kenya, from South Africa, 7 countries, basically. And then they join and then they say that they understand what I'm saying, right? They can see the success that they want to be, and that's why they are joining this program. Most people, the reason why they're not making as much sales as possible or as they should is because your buyers are not seeing you as the success that they want to be. Now, the third thing entrepreneurs need to do
is a masterclass.
The third thing entrepreneurs need to do is really stand up and go and network with people. There's something that happened last year that I told you I just started coaching last year, started training last year, that significantly begun a new season of my life. And how did that happen? Because I went to somewhere that I met a particular person, a high net worth individual. And then I networked with him. And then from there, I was pitching something to him that I had not actively started, but I knew I had the capacity to. And after pitching it to him, he seemed like he wanted it. And I said, people want this thing. I've just been
slowing down.
And then I went, I implemented it, and that's how I began this new season of my life.
Interesting.
And I asked myself, what if I never went? What if I never met this person? So my advice to them, go for conferences, meet people. That's one of the reasons I joined Ace Business Club. It's a lot of money involved, but I know that the people there...
She paid over $2,000.
Mr. Chris.
For that. In current, that's over 1.something million naira. Okay, what I'm saying is so they know that what we're offering to them at Daba 5,000 is cheap. And for your information, okay, for those watching while joining the 5,000, just know that I, Chris Annie, on the authority, I have dragged Omar to be a facilitator and an executive coach at about 5,000. So we'll send our official letter, but we've collected transfer already. Okay. So when players want to come to a particular club, they do verbal agreement first. So we gave her 2 options, yes or yes, and she took one. She took yes. Okay. So you imagine you're learning from Homer, and those of you at about 5,000, this is coming big. Okay, you're going to be learning from social media strategies you should use as an entrepreneur that will help you. And even personally, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to engage her again and say, no, I need to have this thing, because I don't want to be so active on LinkedIn.
Okay.
How do you also help entrepreneurs manage their pages?
Oh yeah, that's even one of the main stuff I do.
Okay.
So the people I manage their pages are C-level executives. I don't have time. Thought leaders.
Okay.
They are too busy to communicate their value.
Okay.
So I manage.
So I'm already thinking of something you do for me, do for Daba. So that I'll just know that I'm there on LinkedIn. And somebody's just helping me and help me communicate how I want education to use, how I want to use education to change the world.
Exactly.
How I want to use Daba to change the world, Daba Studios, and it's there and all that. I think that's an interesting conversation. What is the most frustrating thing you've got to encounter on social media, and since you're doing this your LinkedIn business?
Oh my goodness. This month.
Oh, this month?
Somebody came to tell me, I think is the fact that most Nigerians don't think the way you think. And until you start a business that now reaches them, so people are thinking like this.
Interesting.
So one lady came and started telling me, oh, she joined my program when? And so LinkedIn has been restricting a lot of people's accounts because they restrict dormant accounts. So her account got restricted. And she came and said, oh, she joined my program, her account got restricted. And I said, what were you doing before the account got restricted? Do you know what this woman told me? That it seems like I have memory loss.
Chineke.
When I heard that, I'm like, I didn't know what to say. Nobody has ever told me. Nobody has ever told me.
Welcome to the club.
That I have memory loss. First of all, the kind of family I grew up in. My dad took us to this. My secondary school is like a queen. Yeah. It's called Royal Girls. So they don't teach us all those type of things. They teach you how to talk, how to sit, how to. And then here
Nobody's abusing you.
Nobody's abusing you. Then I'm coming here, I'm doing business, and then I'm seeing someone else, I'm like, God, this is frustrating. And then God told me that that's just little, you encounter more.
Sure.
And He's just teaching you to actually prove yourself.
And you have to endure them.
And endure them.
Yeah.
And I had to endure her. I'm like, first of all, I don't appreciate this insult. But what were you actually doing? Do you know what now happened? And this is just a very funny story. She went back on LinkedIn. She watched this light conference video. Then she came back and started apologizing to me.
She's so fire. She's a woman of God.
She even said, oh, please, can I volunteer for the conference? I said, go and work on how you communicate to people. That's one of the most frustrating things.
Interesting. And so what has been one of your biggest wins with LinkedIn? You never thought of this?
Yeah. So let me say two. The first is basically the people that their lives have changed. So there's something Jumoke Adenowo says. For people that don't know who Jumoke Adenowo is, she's the face of architecture in Africa. Yeah. And she says that the joy of a girl is her success. The joy of a mother is the success of her children. So every time after the growth accelerator I do monthly, we always publish testimonies, and there are a lot. And I know that God's hand is really there because the testimonies are a lot. And so there are people that have come, they don't have direction, and then they are living with jobs. I know, yes, you're paying to join, but your money is not compared to how your life has changed. So for me, that is the biggest win. Not really the 55,000 followers, right? So those ones, I'm just conditioning them for the influence of God. I'm using content to help them. The second big thing that happened to me was when I got invited to LinkedIn's office in Singapore.
Oh, interesting.
Which I was unable to go to.
Because of
Nigeria.
Interesting. So, you need to tell us that story.
I need to tell you guys that story.
So she didn't go to Singapore, not because of visa,
but because of 20,000 naira cash.
During the cash scarcity time. So basically, Omar got this invitation to LinkedIn office in Singapore, and she was thinking dollars is what she would use to go to, and they told her to bring cash. And that was the naira scarcity time. And maybe another podcast, we're going to, I feel like hosting another podcast where I'll bring entrepreneurs to come and cry.
Honestly.
To come and share their frustration since the naira scarcity time, because it was a whole lot of disaster. Yeah. Even my company got affected. We had to even downsize after that because it brought a lot of economic activity to a halt. But we're hoping that maybe this year or next year they'll do another invitation again.
Oh,
No, they will. They will sure invite you. We'll go on a short break and we'll come back. We're going to ask, I don't know if it's trivia they call this one, no. We're going to put Omar on a very, very hot seat.
Please, oh.
If she doesn't answer our question in 30 seconds, she will give us
what?
Maybe 100,000 naira or 1 million naira. She's rich. She's a Goldman Sachs intern. She did Goldman. She was an intern. No, that was years. Someone did internship with KPMG and Goldman Sachs, and today she's
in. What KPMG was paying me.
You had it, so you guys should know here. Let's go on this short break so that she can tell me how much KPMG was paying her to, so I will know if there's still money remaining from that. We'll be right back. For those of you who don't know what Daba 5000 is, it's a mentorship platform where we mentor people in different areas: real estate, finance, sales, business. You're going to be learning from the likes of Jeff Benson, RBFX, Dixon and Sulfur, Chinonso, experts, me, myself, legal experts, marketing expert, Ronaldo Zimora, different people in different fields, people that will change your life. Mentorship, okay, so it's a yearly subscription stuff. So what you do is go to www.daba.school/daba5000, the website showing on your screen and on the link, okay, and you subscribe, okay, to be part of it. It's my course. For those of you asking, Chrisani, mentor me. Those who want to get mentorship in tech and building a business, this is the platform I use to mentor people. So subscribe right now to Daba 5000, okay? For those who want to become successful, wealthy, mentorship is your answer. Welcome back to Wealth Creation Podcast with Chrisani. This is Daba's podcast. And I still have with me here Superwoman Omar Wogu. And she said her name means good things, beautiful things. And you can see she's beautiful and she's good. We've had conversations, but during the course of the break, I got to understand she was paid some millions during the KPMG internship. And during the Goldman Sachs, she was paid in US dollars because she actually took dollars to Singapore embassy. That's why she didn't get that instead of naira. And anybody who's holding dollars in Nigeria, you know the person is rich. So we're going to put her on the hot seat now. She's going to use just a few seconds to. If she fails the question, it's not much money, just 500 to 1 million naira.
And if I get it, 500 to 1 million naira.
No, we are the one hosting you, so you are the one to give us. Right? Okay, so guys, before we continue, you have Light Conference coming up. What's the date? Is it next year? Is it this year? No. Is it tomorrow? Is it next tomorrow?
Light Conference, August 26th, 2023, here in Lagos State. Okay. For kingdom entrepreneurs, believers in the marketplace, change makers, visionary leaders, let's just have a summit where we are giving the fire to go out there and become top of. Do
you want to mention the speakers or they just see the flyers?
Should I mention? And
how will they register for this, please?
bit.ly/thelightconference2023.
So it's showing on your screen, okay, the flyer, this is showing on your screen. I'm sure we're playing a video of it too so that you guys can attend. I'll be there. I make sure you're there too. And register, and it's free.
No.
It's not free?
No.
Okay, what's the charge?
So the book gets you access to the place.
Oh, okay. So when they go to the website, they see all the information for that. All right. Okay, so in this why are you laughing?
Because
no, don't worry, I'm not going to pressure you.
Okay.
Just breathe in, breathe out. Welcome to my yoga class.
Okay.
Okay, so calm down. Allow me to do my thing now. So number one, okay, so it's just both a bonus question and all that. Number one, in the most correct order, which one best describes you? A, foodie, B, fashionista, C, fanciful girl, D, baby girl for life. In the most correct order.
Can you say them again, please?
Foodie, fashionista, fanciful girl, girly, baby girl for life.
Fanciful girl.
1.
Baby girl for life.
2. B.
Fashionista.
3. Why is foodie the last now?
Because I want to lose weight.
Okay. So, what's your best place to be for a holiday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Maldives and Canaan land.
Oh, Maldives. Oh, interesting. Canaan land.
I know
you go back. She wants to go and collect power.
Kenya is the place I go to recharge.
Interesting. Good to know. Okay, so if replying to a message would mean saving a life, how much of a lifesaver do you think you'll be? In 3 words. Okay, yes. How much of a lifesaver do you think you'll be?
Hey, God.
You can't save life.
Omar.
Ah.
No, I don't know. But like I have like 1,300 messages on WhatsApp. I've not responded to. I think maybe because of my birthday.
Okay, so that's 50% of mine.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're going to message me on WhatsApp and you're not among the regular chatting that
you won't see.
So some days back I was going through birthday messages. So I kept on answering. I got tired. I'm like, how many will I answer? So I don't know if anybody will understand me, but man.
I understand you.
I think the best place people can reach me now is Twitter.
Mine is Instagram.
And so Twitter and Instagram. If you message me on Twitter and Instagram, I think I'll respond faster than WhatsApp.
I feel like a celeb already because you replied my message on your birthday.
Okay. And I think that she did something. And during my birthday, people were just saying happy birthday. She's like, okay, Sir Chris, happy birthday. Okay, after your birthday, like, please, can you send your account? Boy, I don't care how much I have. The moment you tell me to send my account number, I have this water that just gushes in my. I like gifts. So one of the things I need to tell people is this. You know, people see you as you're the big guy, you're rich, you have your car, you have your house. If there's one thing I learned over the past 2-3 years, is receiving gifts. I love it. When people buy gifts for me, it makes me so happy. So, and I'm going to be honest with you. If I buy a shoe with my money and you buy a shoe for me, I have more value for that one you bought for me than the one I bought my money.
Yeah.
So gifts make me happy. And Mike Murdoch taught me this years back. And you know, some of us who are these independent people, we do things for ourselves, we always want buying things, we always want to give people. And sometimes we forget to be the one receiving too.
True.
That we give out so much and we don't receive.
Yeah.
Even in both for words, both for teaching as a teacher, both for gifts. Some of us give money. And I got this on the day where I did my wedding, and the kind of gift you showered me with, I was so happy. Like I could feel literal joy and happiness in me. So when someone just sends me a message like, I want to send you money. Money. I get excited. So in case I don't read your message,
maybe you've not asked for account number.
Just go to Twitter and ask for account number. I'll respond to you. There's a guy on Twitter called Casey. He did that. Just came and said, boss, just send the account number. I like it. See, I like good things. I like the money. I like the gifts. I like the clothes. I like the shoes. Give it to me. I'll collect it. Okay? In 3 words, describe your dream man.
Wow.
You didn't see that coming?
Wow.
You didn't see that coming?
Hi. My sister was still told that I'm handsome.
Okay.
But me, I don't really care.
Okay. You just want...
I just want the person that would...
be good.
Not even be good. The person that would understand my being. Because it's like I'm a different breed.
Interesting.
And a lot of men can't keep up. I'm speaking from experience.
Okay.
So...
Relationship, what do you want?
So the man that would, first of all, will not be pressured by my success. But would be a nurturer. Do you understand? So I really don't care about physical... If you can just...
You want to marry a dwarf?
No. No, I'm not going to marry a dwarf.
Okay.
God is not going to send me a dwarf.
Okay, man.
But just tick that box. Love God the way I love God. Because me, I'm crazy. Like, it's a romantic relationship with God. And I need somebody that understands. If not, I don't know, our relationship might have K-leg.
Okay.
So that man is my dream.
Will he be an entrepreneur in 9 to 5 or you don't care?
Oh, I don't care. Just be doing what God has told you to do.
Interesting. So that's a dream man. I think she answered it well. I think this will be the last one. or second to the last, wealthy rich man or smart hardworking man to grow with?
Hell, please, can we go to the second question? Please, let's go to the second.
Answer this one. Wealthy rich man or smart hardworking man to grow with?
No, you say there's all of the above there.
No, you have to just choose. You choose one. You choose one. After all, when we were doing the top 5 for your social media, you didn't say LinkedIn and Twitter. You said LinkedIn first, then the others rest.
Wealthy.
You even had to betray others and put threads.
Wealthy, rich, smart, hardworking.
Wait, so you're not doing wealthy, rich man? You're not taking wealthy, rich,
smart, hardworking man.
No, he's saying wealthy, rich man or smart, hardworking man to grow with.
I've told you my answer.
So you're choosing
wealthy, rich, smart, hardworking man to grow with.
Final answer.
Wealthy, rich, smart, hardworking.
Will you call a friend?
Wealthy, rich, smart, hardworking.
50-50.
Wealthy, rich, smart, hardworking man to grow with.
You have 10 seconds. You have phone a friend.
I don't want to phone a friend. My friends will say the same.
So you choose final answer now.
Yes, that's my final
wealthy
answer.
Man.
Wealthy, rich, hardworking, smart man to grow.
Wealthy man or wealthy man or hardworking.
Wealthy, rich. I'm very sapiosexual.
Okay.
I love smart people. Like, that's my love language. I don't want to say in public. I don't know how many people are watching before they now start flooding me with DMs with wise words.
You're single now.
Wisdom. Well, they should calm down first.
This is another part of the podcast. Please, this part, I don't have anything. I didn't do anything here, please. Okay, she said we should calm down.
They should calm down.
But have you had guys who came around you with, I want coaching, and the next thing is Omar?
Honestly, for that my community stuff, should I say this thing? But there's something he's my coach, but he's also my friend. He says, I hope you know there's something called beauty-based marketing. Some people might just buy something from you just because you are showing up well, you are fine, you look good.
See, this is another business podcast. This is what helped what they call the Kyla Jenny,
the Kardashians.
One day, I was, this is crazy. She just had something to do with her lips. And I don't know whether she did surgery with the lips or whatever.
Botox.
And next thing is makeup brand, and they're selling in millions. Same thing for Kim, and same thing for their mother. And so, please, if you're beautiful, beautiful, not those of us that don't have 6 packs. Did they finally have 6 packs? If I don't get a gym, all these gym companies or whatever that sell whatever, people come as influencer marketer. I mean, if you're beautiful, stop using your beauty to be twerking on TikTok.
Honestly speaking.
So we see, you can use that beauty and sell something, and people will buy because it's you.
It looks good.
I swear, it's that, and isn't lying. People do it for that. Okay. There's a lady I think, I don't know what's that. I just like her because of her. Of course, she's lingua maria also. She teaches Russia. She had one startup where they bring people to admission to the US. She help you teach English language and all that. Man, sometimes I go through her pictures and I'm inspired. She's on one skyscraper. She's one of those who inspired me in the online business world. Lingua Maria or something like that. And see, when she talks, when she does her stuff, you vibe with her.
Yeah,
so
charisma.
Please, there's the charisma there.
Yeah.
There's the beauty there. Okay, so if people are buying because you're beautiful, please keep selling like that. After all, you came here to also make the money. Okay, so
but I know you don't want to go for that because I'm beautiful. Because people are not only buying from me because I'm beautiful.
Yeah, I know. I know you have stores.
Of course.
And you have content.
Of course.
But maybe we'll have that discussion back of this podcast. Maybe one brother, Akeem, has come to your back and say, okay, actually, I started with coaching. Well, can we go on a date? Okay, so since she's skipping the hardworking question, I will go with this now. lost on an island without food, water, and a compass or map. But you have 10 seconds to call just one person to rescue you. Who would you call? What would you say in the seconds, and why would you call that person? You're lost on an island. You have 10 seconds. You need to call somebody, and you must tell the person something that will come and save you. There's no food, there's no water, there's no map, there's no compass. Who would you call?
I'll call my sister, my elder sister.
You not call daddy.
I'll call my elder sister.
You not call mommy.
I'll call my elder sister.
You not call the younger ones.
What can those ones do?
So you call your elder sister?
Yeah.
Why?
But first of all, my elder sister is my best friend. She can.
What's her name?
Naya.
Okay.
She works in a crypto company.
Interesting.
Quidax.
Oh, interesting.
She's one person I know can actually take a bullet for me.
Wow.
I know that.
Wow.
So if I'm lost on an island, I just need to tell her I'm lost.
And the next thing,
she will pull her network and ensure that
what a flex.
I'm saved. And she will bring food.
What a flex.
I hope she sees this podcast.
Oh, guys, this has been an interesting show, an interesting podcast, and I'm sure you've learned something, you've gotten something of value. If you want to work with Omar, make sure you follow her on LinkedIn and send her a DM. Please don't use that idea I shared with you. Don't, I repeat, don't, because she will tell me, okay, and join our community, learn, and watch this podcast, and do not forget to share with your friends and family. And what do you call her name again, your sister's name? Naya, you're a wonderful sister. Aww. You are amazing, and I want people to have sisters like you who would come true for them when they are down. Till I come your way, guys, next time, please do not forget to visit daba.school, where you can learn different courses that will help you make income, gain financial freedom. And don't forget to join our mentorship platform, where I teach people how they can become successful, how they can become millionaires. You can learn that via Daba 5000. The platform is showing on your screen. Till I come your way next time, I don't feel like ending this, but it just has to come to an end. Thank you so much, Omar, for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you for honoring this invitation. And yeah, we have more things to do.
Yep.
Daba 5000 is there. Guys, share this video. Till I come your way next time. God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you at the Light Conference too. Guys, this is your time to get your ticket to attend the Light Conference. I hope you have